Good evening, everybody. My name is Mary Kelly. I'm a member of the Dubuque League of Women Voters. The League is a nonpartisan political organization which encourages informed and active citizen participation in government. Membership is open to anybody, any citizen 18 years of age or older. We'd like to thank the Fourth Ward City Council candidates for their participation this evening and for their invaluable gift to Dubuque by being candidates for public office. There are two candidates running for the position of Fourth Ward, Dubuque City Council. They are Ms. Carla Anderson and Ms. Katie Wethall. Ms. Anderson, we're going to begin with you. You'll have 2 minutes for each answer, and then each one of you, after you've answered, will have a chance to comment on the other person's answer. So, Ms. Anderson, why are you running for a seat on the council?
I'm running because I want to bring a diverse view to the community as a whole. I want to be able to talk with the community, take their issues to city council, and have them heard. I'm running to be that voice that people feel that they don't have. By being that voice, I think I can bring the whole community, not just half, together, and we can sit down at the table, we can discuss our issues, and we can present them to the council together with me standing side by side. I don't want to sit in judgment of anyone. I want everyone's voice to be heard. If we have members of the community actively engaged, we can make our community stronger, we can make it better, and we can make Dubuque way better and stronger, and we can entice people to come visit our city because it is great.
Thank you. Ms. Wethall?
Hello. I first of all would like to thank the League of Women Voters, of course, for hosting us tonight. I'd like to apologize for not being able to be with you in person. I am currently, my husband and I, long before Brad Kavanaugh was elected mayor, had planned to be out of town today with our children. And our children, after being in a home with two healthcare workers during a pandemic, we certainly wanted to keep our promise to them. So thank you for understanding. Thank you for accommodating my ability to be with you tonight. I'm from Sabula, Iowa. I grew up in Jackson County. I went to Clark University in the 90s where I met my husband. We, soon after getting married here in Dubuque, moved to Colorado, where I finished my graduate studies as a nurse practitioner. We had our first daughter there, and we felt very compelled to come back to Dubuque. Much of the reason that I am with you now is simply because I feel called to give more. During the pandemic, as a nurse practitioner working at Medical Associates in the internal medicine department, and also in the COVID-19 clinics, where I cared directly for patients and tested them for COVID-19. I will tell you, I felt
30 seconds.
that there was a great deal that needed to be done for them that I hope to be able now to do outside of my clinic walls. I feel that there's a number of things in Dubuque that we do well, and I hope to continue to build on those things. Much of our challenges will have to do with workforce, and I hope to work hard to listen to my community, but also take an active role
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can you hear the bell?
I can, yes,
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Ms. Wethall, this next question is for you. What are your top priorities for the City Council? And are your priorities the same as the city's?
Well, I think as I've tried to form what I feel is important for Dubuque's future, workforce has been important from number one. And as I have made phone calls and knocked doors with hundreds in Ward 4, of course, not being able to connect with nearly as many as I'd like, workforce, our economy, as part of that, having housing that is equitable throughout our community at all income streams, I think is very important childcare, transportation, but workforce to build a strong economy would be first. Second would be to make Dubuque a community of choice for now and for decades to come. And as part of that, to build indoor and outdoor recreation, which is part of what drew my family back to Dubuque. Also to value our historic structures, nurture the arts, all things that I feel are a priority. And then third, continue to build on public and private partnerships. That has served Dubuque so well, and we have been an example in the Midwest of how that can make a difference in a community. And so I feel that although there are great journeys ahead, they're exciting ones. Many of them take place in Ward 4, and I feel that those priorities are a priority for our current city council members as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Anderson, the same question. What are your priorities?
The first one is equitable housing. We have a need in our community for conditions to be completely better than what they are right now. We have a need in our community for our landlords to listen more to their tenants. We have a need for them to learn that they actually have rights with the landlords to get things solved in the units that they live in. The second is closing the information gap in our areas. I know in the Bluffs, and I know over here down Main Street where I live, we don't get any information about anything that's going on right now. If people don't know where to find the information, they just don't know. And right now, there are a lot of people that have no idea that there's an election coming up, nor do they have any idea who the candidates are. So my job is to get out there, talk to people, any people, and invite them to watch this tonight and share their feelings. My third one is to be fiscally conservative with the money in the city. Let's have the money that is allocated to the city go for the projects that it is allocated for. And let's be conservative with our taxpayers' money and let them feel that they're part of the decision as they come before council and express their concerns.
Thank you. Ms. Wethall, do you have an additional comment? You have 1 minute.
I don't have anything additional right now, Mary. Thank
All
you.
right, thank you. Ms. Anderson, what's your position on the idea of renovating the Five Flags Center?
My position is, right now as it stands, it can wait. It's been a plan since 2017. The plans have not changed, nor have the prices. It's not accounting for inflation right now. As it stands, it's an extra $1.582 million. A new fire truck costs $1.8 million. I think our first offenders deserve a new rig. As far as updating a feasibility study, I do believe that is coming shortly. It will be presented to the community for the community to decide. As it stands right now, I kind of have to disagree with the status quo.
Thank you. Ms. Anderson, this next question you'll start with? If you, I'm sorry. Yeah, Ms. Anderson. Sorry. Ms.
Katie.
Oh, I'm sorry. Ms. Westall, do you have a response to that? I'm sorry.
Well,
What is your answer to that? I'm sorry about that. Okay.
That's okay. So when it comes to Five Flags, I've done what I could to speak with as many stakeholders in the community as well as community members. As I door knock and make phone calls, so many people are definitely concerned about the issue of cost. As a property that is the responsibility of the city of Dubuque, there are no doubt investments that need to be made in the structure. Additionally, our beautiful historic theater needs updates. Right now, in order to improve handicap accessibility so that our members in our community can enjoy that space for what it is meant for, there's definitely things that need to be done. I believe that the voters should have the opportunity to vote on referendum. That process certainly first needs to have an updated assessment, which the city has voted, I believe, wisely to move forward with. As we await that assessment, I know there's people in the community that are very strongly in favor as well as opposed to Five Flags. And so they are also going to plan, I believe, to plead their case to the public, which they should have the ability to do so that we can all make an educated decision before the referendum is in motion. So yes, thank you.
Thank you. And Ms. Anderson, do you have anything to add?
I do. I've met no community members that are for the Five Flag Center because of there not being a new study. If there is a Five Flag Center, I would like to know how they're going to pay the extra first responders that we need for that facility. Our police department is not that big. Who's going to cover the safety issues that will cause? They can't fill the seats that they have now in the structure that they have. Adding more seats, how are they planning on getting butts in the seat when they can't get butts in the seat right now?
Thank you. Ms. Westphal, if you would happen to disagree with the majority of your Fourth Ward constituents on any issue, how would you reach your decision and how would you vote?
I believe it's my responsibility as a councilwoman that represents the Fourth Ward to listen and to speak with all of those passionate about an issue. Certainly when individuals contact council members, it's because they feel strongly one way or another about an issue, or there's something that dramatically affects their own family. And it's my job to always listen and always be available and accessible. It's part of the reason that on all of my campaign literature, I have put my personal cell phone, my email address, everything so that I can try and meet with people and hear what is important to them. And so as someone who is passionate about being a listener, both in my vocation of what I do presently and as I hope to represent Ward 4, listening to everyone and being committed to hard work is my job. It's my job to represent that constituency and to condense all of that information and make the decision about what is best. And I hope to show my neighbors in the Fourth Ward that I am always going to work hard to do the right thing for them. Thank you.
Ms. Anderson?
If there are disagreements with the citizens of our community, conversation is needed. I would have a town hall meeting and I would take notes and I will have someone, anybody, tell me what their issues are, what do they think a better solution is. And we can agree to disagree, but we're going to agree that I'm going to represent anybody all the time. If there's a disagreement, we can sit down like adults and discuss this disagreement. There's nothing wrong with disagreeing. There doesn't need to be an argument. You just disagree and we work from there.
Thank you. Ms. Westphal, do you have anything to add?
I do not.
Thank you. Ms. Anderson, can you give an example of past city council action that gave you concern about this community's future? And what do you think may be the biggest impediment to Dubuque's future success?
I don't feel there's a big impediment to their success at all. I think the only thing I might disagree with is the whole situation with the parking garage and the Five Flag Center. It doesn't seem fiscally responsible to me. As an impediment to the city, there isn't any. Everyone's trying to work together to accomplish the same thing and to make our city a great city. That's all that matters.
Thank you. Ms. Westphal.
Mary, would you be so kind to repeat the question for me?
Yes. Can you give an example of a past city council action that gave you concern about the community's future? And what do you think may be the biggest impediment to Dubuque's future success?
I don't see overall a tremendous impediment other than what generally has been an impact across the country and internationally regarding the COVID-19 pandemic. Clearly, we all are dealing personally with issues amongst our family dynamics and our communities. But I think the only impediment to our future is that which has been brought upon us and our international community. Giving an example of something that I think is, I'm sorry, Mary, how did the first part of the question read?
Well, if there's a city council action that's already in place that gave you concern, that you didn't agree with, that you were worried about.
So I had used this example previously when I've been interviewed. There was one night that I was in the council chamber, a group of individuals who were there to passionately talk about the cost of sidewalk repairs to their properties. Certainly, I don't have an objection in coming to a decision. It's a difficult one, especially when you're impacting families' personal finances. But I saw an open door that we can do better when we come to decisions about making decisions about our families across our city,
30
and to make sure
seconds.
that we do that, in a uniform way. In healthcare, what we try to do is consistency. And I see that when we make regulations and rules across our city to ensure that they are equitable, they should be distributed evenly. And so I guess that would be my example. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Anderson, do you have anything to add?
No, I don't. Thank you.
All right. All right, Ms. Westphal, is there anything you would change about current city council procedures and policies?
When it comes to policies, I think that we should continually be revisiting how we can do better, how we can make change when it needs to be done. I know that the city is committed to ensuring a safe workplace for its employees, ensuring that there is no harassment, racial rhetoric, hate speech that is ever applied in a workspace, as should be the case in all workspaces and public places, as well as homes, in my eyes. I think that there is an opportunity with recent events in our community to do the right thing and to revisit as much as we can our policies to ensure a safe workplace for all. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Anderson?
I think they can get the community more involved. That right now they feel they don't have a voice, therefore they don't vote. They see us coming around only when it's time for a vote and they're not seen again. Part of the community is left out of all decisions, and I hear about it. Part of the community hears part of the decisions. If we can all come together and be a part of the city council and know when to meet or when to watch, we can have better informed decisions from the council members because they're hearing what the community has to say. So a change in the policy would be to invite and be more inviting for the community to come in.
Thank you. Ms. Westphal, do you have an additional comment to that question?
I do not.
All right. Ms. Anderson, how would you allocate Dubuque's share of the American Rescue Plan Act?
I would work on the bridge, Schmitz Island. I'm still not sold on the parking garage. And then I would try to put some of that towards housing, equitable housing. If that means we can build a tiny hometown, that would be great. That would help with a lot of the problems that we have facing our housing in our homeless community. So I would use that towards that as well. There is talk of new parking meters that they want to get, smart meters. I would have that go towards that as well.
Thank you. Ms. Westphal?
Yes. Well, this is a hot topic because I know there is a number of needs in our community, but there is a limited amount of dollars. Yes, those dollars are great, but there's many projects for infrastructure that truly are needed in our community. I know I have heard information from many about safety equipment for our first responders, things like dispatch center updates, things that need to be done in that manner. Without question, if there are opportunities to help working families, families who need the resources in order to put them back to work and get them back in the workforce, that should absolutely be our priority as well. Thank you.
And Ms. Anderson, do you have anything to add?
I don't.
Thank you. Ms. Westall, what are specific methods council members could be using to broaden communication with the community at large? And would you pledge to incorporate any of those methods into your representation if elected?
Well, I've learned a lot in the last 2 months about how to reach out to people. And I feel that I have had the joy of meeting so many of my friends and neighbors simply because of the privilege of this campaign. So part of that is just human connection. As somebody who is a people person based on my vocation and what I do as a nurse practitioner and working as a frontline worker, I will tell you that one-on-one communication to me has no replacement. I know that many of our council members do things to be in contact consistently with community. I applaud Danny Sprank for his continued neighborhood association participation, which I think gets him front and center with his neighbors to know their needs. I think that that's a great opportunity. Additionally, I have had the privilege to meet with so many individuals who've been gracious enough, meeting with groups from ecumenical towers, meeting with groups from different union memberships, even simply volunteering at the labor harvest on Saturdays. I have had the privilege to get out in the community and do things. And many of those opportunities I've taken my daughters with, who are 15 and 12 and of an age that they can help and lend a hand, but also to learn from their community members too. They're definitely part of the reason
30.
that I'm here with you today. So thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Anderson?
To broaden communication in Dubuque, I would try to fill the lack of information gap, the lack of representation, and people being shuffled around. By doing so, I would hold town hall meetings quarterly so voices can be heard that I can relay back. I would also have a newsletter that would be biweekly, informing the community of everything that's happening and that they can participate in. I would make sure that they understand that they can have their voices heard no matter what. They will be understood and heard. They don't have to agree. It's okay. Everybody understands a small disagreement. But to be willing to be heard, to get them to show up and engage, takes me putting out the information so that they can be here.
Thank you. And Ms. Westall, do you have anything to add?
I do not, Mary.
All right. Next question. The current trash collection program uses a customer's own 35-gallon trash cans or bags and various sizes of wheeled tipper carts with various fees to each one. The Public Works Department is proposing a change in city trash collection. What do you propose? Yes.
Okay. I propose we bring it before the council and let the community decide how they want to do it and not be dictated how it's going to be done. I think you'll have better cooperation from the community. And if you allow them to be a part of the process of deciding, I think your answers will be quite clear to follow.
Ms. Westall?
So my understanding is that much of the decision-making process we have in front of us as a city related to trash collection has to do with the safety of our city workers. There's a number of injuries that can occur on the job for these individuals. And no doubt they work physically hard with their bodies. I'm in favor of anything that allows them to stay safer, to have less injuries in the workplace. And I would agree that it's a decision-making process that should be open and in front of the council transparently, so that community can also have an understanding, and so that I could speak personally with those in my community and in my ward that are passionate about the collection process one way or another. I just have to say one thing, that when my husband and I moved back to Dubuque, that we were incredibly grateful for was simple things that we had available to us regarding sustainability. So, for instance, our compost bin is part of our family's collection, and I have family and friends that live in the Twin Cities and in throughout the state in Colorado, who, when they have come to visit us, are so impressed with programs such as the sustainability of having
30.
Our own family compost bin that is collected roadside by our staff each week. So I just have to say how proud I am to live in a city that definitely prioritizes sustainability efforts.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mary.
Ms. Anderson, do you have a response to that?
Sort of. I don't have any cute family stories to tell. I can tell you about my cousin that works for sanitation in Chicago. And I understand what they go through as far as their safety is concerned. I'm also a union person, so I'm all about safety in the first place. I still stick with let the community have an input. From there, let's make an informed decision on how these things should be done and how our trash should be collected.
Thank you. Now, here's a related question. If the city decided that tipper carts were going to be used and they were going to be mandatory for every household, how should they be paid for, and who should pay it? That's for Ms. Westall.
You know, that's a great question. I have to be honest. I think that that's a pretty specific answer that I'd want to have more information on in order to make an adequate judgment, whether that has to do with cost to my neighbors in the Fourth Ward and throughout our city, or also buy-in from employees on need and even staging processes of implementation. So I would just need more information before I'd feel comfortable making a decision one way or another. Thank you, Mary.
Ms. Anderson?
I too would need more information. However, when it comes to anything that's costing extra and that the city is recommending, I don't see a problem with actually sharing the cost, because no one's walking around saying, yes, let's add more to our tax dollars. No citizen is saying that. So if there's something that the city wants to decide and they have a hearing before the community, let's figure out how they can co-pay a situation like that.
Thank you. Ms. Westall, do you have an additional comment to that?
I do not, Mary.
All right. Ms. Anderson, are you committed to the city's plan of 50% reduction of greenhouse gases by 2030? The prediction is our city will only reach 44% reduction under the current plan. How would you commit to reaching the full goal of 50%?
I am committed. My son has asthma, so I'm definitely committed. I would commit by working with city management. They have all the information of what we would need to know. So I'd be fully committed to sitting down and saying, yes, I agree with this plan, let's put it out there, and attempting to get the community to go with that plan and make things happen. If the community is not in agreement, we have a problem. That means that they're not willing to do what it takes for us to have a safer environment. And from the community members that I have spoken with, they all seem to have a commitment for us to have a better and safer environment.
Thank you. Ms. Westall?
Mary, would you please repeat that question?
Yes, it's about the plan to reduce greenhouse gases by 2030. The city's goal is 50%. There's been predictions we won't reach that. How can we reach it, and would you commit to reaching it?
Well, I will tell you that I need more information on where we currently have our goals set and what our projections are related to anything we could do in addition. And those individuals who are stakeholders at the table who know how we can best meet that goal. I am absolutely committed to sustainability. It's one of the most important pieces of passing on this world to my children and ensuring that in the future, our beautiful river is a place that is safe for us to be, but broader, whether it is sustainability that affects us internationally. So we must all do our part. We must all do our piece. I think that it comes down to each of us individually, but as a city, I will be committed to what I can to move forward, and of course would want to meet that goal and work hard to make sure that we're doing everything we can to do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Anderson, anything to add to that?
No,
All right.
thank you.
Ms. Westhall, how can Dubuque ensure more affordable housing while balancing historic districts, gentrification of neighborhoods, and the need for affordable housing? Low-income units, I'm sorry, low-income units.
Well, I think I caught pieces of that question, so let me get started and then we'll see what I missed. So first of all, I believe that in order for us to build workforce, we must have housing in all income streams across the entire city. Right now, we are missing the boat on keeping our own students of higher learning institutions here in Dubuque, simply sometimes because we really truly don't have the housing. Or maybe it's missing the opportunity to recruit someone who's very highly skilled to take a job, but just can't find a place to live that they're excited about. And so it's important to me to know that we're doing everything we can across the city to make that happen. When it comes to working hard with building certain areas of the city, you know, Ward 4 is the most diverse of all of our wards. It has both the most poverty as well as some of the greatest wealth. And so when it comes to housing, we've got it all in Ward 4 that we need to work on. I know that people want complete streets where they can stop and walk and enjoy local businesses. That's important to me. And of course, we all want vibrant communities.
30.
But I might have you repeat the question just to make sure that I fully answer that, though, Mary, if you would.
Yeah, I think the questioner is looking how can the city balance the need to maintaining historic districts and providing adequate housing and low-income housing, affordable housing.
Okay. I think the balance is just that, a balance, and it comes with one decision-making process at a time. I think that we have done a good job here in Dubuque of
30.
putting energy into our historic structures, but we absolutely need to prioritize that and address buildings before they become too much work to repair. It takes major investment for individuals to do that. And so in respecting our historic structures, I think priority of balance is important. Thank you, Mary.
Thank you.
That was a long 36.
That was weird. Ms. Anderson?
So, to ensure more affordable housing, let's start off by having decent jobs with a living wage. That takes care of things to start. Let's have changes on the higher levels that make these decisions for housing assistance. Let's have something that actually assists the people. Finally, let's end redlining. Let's call it what it is. There is redlining here. Let's end that so people have a broader choice of where they want to live. Let's create, again, a tiny home community. We have the space. It's not too expensive, and it takes care of several things that we need in the community. We have a homeless population that is grossly ignored. If we have a tiny house community, they can have a place to live. They can have shelter from the elements. They can afford it. But most importantly, we have to have jobs with a living wage.
And Ms. Westphal, do you have anything to add?
I do not, Mary.
All right. Ms. Anderson, should you, as the representative for the 4th Ward, also be a voice for all residents across the city? And if so, how would you do that?
Not to step on anyone's toes, but I don't see why not. Each person or each council person should look out for the other wards and their community members. They can come together with a giant voice and sit down and say, okay, this is what we have citywide. So citywide, let's figure out how to solve these issues. That would take all the council members to sit down and say, we hear you. If we can have that happen, yes, we can all come together as one community and sit down and talk about how we can solve the issues that we all share. 4th Ward is not the only ward that may have some issues. There are other wards that I hear from. People have the same issues that I wouldn't even think of that they have, but they have the same issues. So yes, we should all be able to look out for each other's wards.
Thank you. Ms. Westphal.
No doubt, I want to be open to everyone here in Dubuque, and my vote will certainly affect their concern of need as much as anyone else's vote, whether it's their representative from their ward or someone who is serving as an at-large seat. I want to listen to everyone, but it's my job to do what is best for Ward 4, and the issues that affect Ward 4, I feel I need to be the best informed so that I can advocate for my friends and neighbors when it's needed. I would want to make well-informed decisions though, and so that advocacy has to be based with contact directly with the stakeholders involved in decision-making processes. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Anderson, anything to add?
Yes. While I agree about being a stand-up person in the 4th Ward community, I also still say that if I'm working with Ward 1, Ward 3, I will sit down with the council members to discuss the issues that I've heard about from the community members in their ward. They don't know if they don't hear. So if the council members do not speak amongst each other of what they're hearing from people in other wards, we cannot solve the big issues.
Thank you. Ms. Westphal, are there barriers to citizen input to departments, commissions, and the council? And if so, how can these be solved?
You know, I think individually, I have heard from members in my ward that they have felt at times that there are barriers that are present for them being able to feel a part of their government. And local government's where rubber hits the road. So I take those statements pretty seriously. Again, it's part of the reason that I have tried to put myself in front of as many people as possible, why I have made hundreds of phone calls and knocked doors so that I can learn what those needs are. I want to be available to people, and what I have heard is that that's what the citizens of 4th Ward want. They want someone who will listen. They want someone who will be thoughtful about decision-making processes. But I also think that accessibility to their council members is a big piece of what some have felt has been a barrier in the past. And so I hope to do my best to break that barrier. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Anderson.
Barriers to city input, absolutely. People don't feel welcome to come to the city council meetings. They don't know what to expect. They don't want to be ostracized, or they don't want to feel like they're being ostracized. Barriers on the smaller level, there's barriers to housing, there's barriers to job, there's barriers to food. We have a food desert. The barriers to the paperwork that is needed for our citizens to get assistance. It's not what I've heard, it's what I've seen. I've worked with community members to fill out paperwork. They've asked for everything but your firstborn child. That's ridiculous. There are language barriers. There are people that are not so tech savvy. We don't have anybody to help them. That's another barrier. I speak from personal experience from when my son transferred from one company to another and he needed assistance, and there was about 10 pages he had to fill out to get no response and then get rejected without a reason given. So this is real. It's not hyperbole. This happens. This is a fact. I can get the community members that I have spoken with to stand here and say the same thing. So the main barrier is the paperwork that is put in front of them to fill out without any know-how of how to fill out such paperwork.
Ms. Westphal, do you have an additional comment?
I do not, Mary.
All right. Ms. Anderson, the city has taken over the Mystique Ice Arena. Do you think this benefits or hurts the city's future?
That one I'm not really sure on. I can see it benefiting the city if they do the renovations that they're talking about. I can see it. But I'm not really sure, so I would need more information on that one.
Okay. And Ms. Westphal, do you have an opinion on that?
You know, as the stage of life I am in with young children and knowing families who are excited in the community about opportunities they have for their children of both indoor and outdoor recreation, I value that space for our community. I understand that the cost that could incur is going to be an issue for our city that we'll have to that we will have to do, and obviously those decisions are already made, and I will not be part of the initial decision to move forward with that purchase. I do think, however, that the Schmidt Island, Chaplain Schmidt Island investment is an important one for our community. I believe the beautiful Veterans Memorial Tribute Plaza and Tribute is a great tribute to men and women who've served our community and our country, and that recognition should stand, and we should be proud of that. But I think the renegotiation and redistribution of funds as part of moving forward with Chaplain Schmidt Island projects will reduce the tax burden on citizens and create a lot of great opportunities for our community to have more accessibility to indoor-outdoor recreation aside from the ice center. Hiking and biking trails. I hope something
30.
to the effect of an outdoor amphitheater. But after now, dog racing will cease. The redevelopment of that space is an exciting opportunity for our community.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Anderson, anything to add?
Yes, I would like to know, how would you distribute the funds? And how would you decide what is best for that project compared to everything else? That's it.
Thank you. Ms. Westphal, could Dubuque benefit by providing the so-called smart transportation system and parking apps?
Could our city benefit from the use of them?
That, yes, I believe that's what the questioner
Yeah.
is asking.
Okay, sure. So, you know, I think as we talk about parking and transportation as an important piece of our future in Dubuque, not just in the next 5 years, but in the next 10 and 20 years, parking will without doubt, and transportation generally without doubt, will play a role in our ability to recruit and maintain businesses in our downtown. And so we must take it with priority. Whether it is making the assessments that are currently in process of assessment to utilize the space that we have effectively. And in order to do that, I think smart parking will be a piece of it. The distribution of how that is done, though, I would need more information as well. Whether that would be implementing in a staged process versus all at once and what the cost difference would be. But I'm hopeful that the assessment that we will have will help us to make those decisions in an educated way. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Anderson?
Yes, we would benefit from smart transportation and parking. However, at a later time, there is no great demand for parking downtown. There's just nobody there. And the parking meters that we had, the parking meters that we have right now, these have got to be the fastest parking maids I have ever seen. They're out there. So we have a parking app right now that you can use to pay for your parking. I don't see any added benefit at this particular time to put that cost on taxpayers yet again to change the meters. We just don't have a huge demand of people coming downtown to shop. That's it.
Thank you. Ms. Swithall, do you have any other comment for that?
You know, I guess I disagree in many ways about what we have available to us in downtown. I was here in the 1990s when I was going to Clark, and I will tell you the transformation that Dubuque has made of our downtown, which is our Ward 4, where there are many businesses, many small businesses, many minority-owned businesses, all of which are there and open. And we need to do everything we can to help them. And whether it is incorporating smart transportation or grant programs to ensure that their businesses are secure, I will tell you that downtown is vibrant and alive and well, and we have a lot of room to grow, but we have achieved so much since I first came to Dubuque. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Anderson, the Dubuque Economic...
I get a rebuttal. Don't I?
I'm sorry.
Do I get a rebuttal?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, go ahead.
Okay. So I would like to know where my opponent has gone into a minority-owned business because they're on Central. And parking downtown, there's adequate parking. Downtown is not that exciting. There's not a lot of things happening downtown. I've been out on a Friday walking downtown, and I've been the only one walking. So where all these people are coming from, the smaller businesses have already moved to the shopping mall. And from what I've seen on a Friday night, a Saturday, or Sunday, other than people going to church, there isn't that many people walking around downtown. Again, as I said, a lot of the minority-owned businesses are on Central. Thank you.
So again, Ms. Anderson, sorry about that mix-up. The Dubuque Economic Development Department lists childcare as a big challenge to the city's growth and maintaining a workforce. What ideas do you have to promote availability of childcare?
Good question. Let's talk about it. Announce it. Advertise it. There are daycare centers on part of the town that have a 2-3 year waiting list, whereas there's another daycare center that is down the way that has openings right now. They don't get the people because they accept state money. So instead of recommending people go there, they recommend go someplace where there is a waiting list. Our daycare centers are underfunded. They're trying to get more money, whether they take state money or not. There's not an equality as far as getting the information out to certain daycare centers, and that needs to change. Let's advertise all the daycare centers for all the citizens so they can have an informed decision on what's out there, what fits their budget. If we want a stronger workforce, we have to have decent childcare. We have to have childcare that will feed the kids, make sure they're clean, and overall, they're getting some type of an education. We can start our STEM programs in the childcare area, but they have to know that these programs exist for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Wethall.
Well, for the last 15 years, I have been a consumer of daycare with my family. I have 3 children, and throughout that time, I've been fortunate enough to work in healthcare, and many of the hospitals and organizations that I've worked for, or my husband has worked for, have had the availability of daycare for us. I'll tell you a brief story. When I first came to Dubuque, we had one of our daughters was born before moving back. And I was told by my daycare provider that as soon as I found out I was pregnant with another child, that before I even told my family, I needed to tell her so that she could secure a spot for my infant care. Um, we shouldn't have to do that. We shouldn't have to feel pressured that when we want to return to work as women, that we have the ability to do so to serve our community. The priorities that I have personally experienced and I know right now are important. One is infant care. Again, there's a huge lack of availability, and we need to fix that. 2 is shift care. So as somebody who has worked shifts, both days and night shifts in the past as a nurse, I will tell you that we needed early morning care and we needed later evening care in order for us to work a 12-hour shift. And
30.
Without that, it would have been very difficult to serve the patients I have. The other issue is drop-in care, and this affects families that have school-age children as well as younger. In order for them to go to work on a snow day, a bad weather day, an ice day, late arrivals, those are so complicated for families to deal with every day. And so I think those should be our priorities moving forward. Thank you.
Ms. Anderson, do you have anything to add?
I do. My opponent has very nice stories. They're lively. However, there's a huge childcare barrier in the minority community. Her ideas are great, but how does it serve that community when there's a language barrier, when they can't afford childcare because childcare is expensive? What's the solution to that? How do we as a community solve that problem so people that want to work can get out there and work? If there is no affordable childcare, what are these parents supposed to do? Snow day or no snow day, if they can't afford it, they cannot work. So that's the barrier that we're facing right now. And as a collective, we can come together and we can figure out a better solution that works for the whole community, not just part of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Wethall, here's a sidewalk question. How can the city balance pedestrian travel on sidewalks and property owners' budgets who would have to pay for those sidewalks?
Well, again, I'll just go back to my statements earlier. One is that whether it comes to sidewalks or implementation of other costs to households in Dubuque for individuals who are property owners, I think that it needs to be transparent, it needs to be fair, and it needs to be consistent. Whether that is creating, in the instance of sidewalks, for instance, a staged process in which families have a notice of extended time so that they can work out the cost of maintaining sidewalks, repairing sidewalks, or placing sidewalks. But I think that it's the right thing to do across the city on many issues to make sure that that decision-making process is done consistently. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Anderson?
Can you please repeat the question?
Yes, how can the city balance the safety of pedestrian travel and a property owner's responsibility to maintain sidewalks? Or install sidewalks, I think is also implied in this question.
All right, so I'm used to the city being responsible for the sidewalks and the homeowner being responsible for the maintenance of those sidewalks. Where I come from, there is an ordinance that if you do not shovel your sidewalks, you get a fine. So there's a community gathering of people that want to volunteer their time to clean the sidewalks for our elderly people. I think out here they want to propose the same thing minus the fine. They have a system set up to where they can get volunteers to come take care of the sidewalks for our elderly. The balance is the city puts them in and the owner has to maintain them. My concern is who has to pay for them. That's it.
Ms. Westphal, do you have another comment on that issue?
I do not, Mary.
All right. Well, it's time for the last question, and we will start with you, Ms. Anderson. Do you have a question for Ms. Westphal on a topic that we haven't covered that you'd like to ask
Yes.
her?
Yes. Ms. Wethel, you talk about diversity. You have spoken on diversity. I would love to understand what you consider diversity and how would you make that a better situation when you have not been into a diverse community and that community has been basically a flyover community and they have voiced that loudly to me. Instead of showing up only asking for their votes, how do you get them to stay engaged with you and talk with you and to trust you as an outsider?
So I want to start by talking about who I am and in my lifetime, how I have been in diversity and helped to serve members of community and diversity. So when I went to college at Clark, I was afforded the opportunity for two separate trips in which we went on service projects to work at Healthcare for the Homeless in Washington, D.C. I worked in both the HIV as well as the primary care clinics, and we stayed in the largest homeless shelter in the country. It was very obvious to me at that time the difference of how poverty affects people of color. And so my eyes were very opened by that. When I worked and did my training at the University of Northern Colorado to become a nurse practitioner, I worked as my training at a third year or at a medical residency. And as part of that residency, we served mainly migrant populations, those individuals who worked in the meatpacking industry, as well as agricultural workers. And so I very much learned the importance of being present with those people in a new way and learning from them and learning their unique needs as a community. When I came back to Dubuque, I worked at Crescent Community Health Center as a nurse practitioner. For the first time, I had met individuals from the Marshallese community. And again, my eyes were very open to their unique health needs, their history, and how I could best serve them. For the last 2 years, I have worked as a frontline worker during the global pandemic, serving all of my community. And I will tell you that I am committed to serving all members of the Fourth Ward equally. And I will do all that I can to be in contact with those members who need me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, it's time to wrap up. We've come to the end. Do you want to respond to that?
I do.
Okay.
I do. Oh, no, she didn't ask me a question.
Yes, Carla to ask Ms. Anderson, I'm sorry, Ms. Westphal to ask Ms. Anderson a question.
Okay, thank you. Carla, what do you think our greatest investment should be in the city of Dubuque to guarantee our success in the 21st century?
Our biggest investment should be in education. To keep our, pardon me, my medical alarm is going off. I apologize for that. Oh, that's embarrassing. Our biggest investment should be our educational system. We are having a lot of problems in the schools now as far as the kids being called the N-word and nothing's being done about it. If your kids aren't engaged in class, they're not engaged in their future. If we, in my generation, don't look after the kids and their education and invest in them and tell them that they can be, all of them can be kings and queens, and the sky is the limit. If they want to be president, go for president. But our first thing we have to do is invest in our youth. The next thing we need to do is take care of our senior citizens. They shouldn't have to choose between their medicine and their food. They need proper transportation. Maybe they need help carrying their groceries. These are two issues that if we do not take care of, you have one coming in and you have one going out. How do we balance that everyone's needs are met? Invest in everybody. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm afraid it's time for closing remarks, and we'll start with you, Ms. Withall. You have 3 minutes for a closing remark.
Thank you, Mary. Again, I just want to thank our community and the League of Women Voters for this opportunity. This has been a pretty quick turnaround race as a special election, and no one really anticipates that there's an election in March. And so for those of you listening, I want everyone to try and inform their friends and their family in the Fourth Ward to get out and vote. I feel called to serve my community in a new way beyond what I have professionally. I feel called for a number of reasons. One is that I held space during the pandemic with hundreds of patients, thousands, who had gone through tremendous loss, whether that is loss of job, loss of a loved one, loss of their home, loss of their dignity. I was witness to what I can never imagine again, I hope, of my community dealing with pain. I have done what I could during the pandemic to be present for my community and my patients in meaningful ways. But I see this as an opportunity that, as a working mother, someone who chose to come back to Dubuque because I so greatly love Dubuque and what she has given to our family, I would absolutely feel privileged to serve my community members in the Ward 4. I ask for your vote March 29th, and I hope that in the future, I have the ability to serve you, and I always want to be present for you in a meaningful way. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Anderson.
Thank you to the League of Women Voters again for this participation. I get a chance to get my message out there yet again. I'd like to say that my view of the city is not narrow at all. Talking with the citizens of the community, learning what issues they have had and continue to have is not hyperbole. Expressing the issues my son has is also not hyperbole, which I've said earlier. I come to the table with experience as the former vice chairman of the Human Rights Committee, a board member with Habitat for Humanity currently, and currently a board member with the Small Business Alliance of Dubuque, also known as The Collective. I have a bachelor's degree in project management, and I have a master's degree in computer technology. I'm also a former corrections officer, a former union carpenter, and an Army vet. So I bring a wealth of knowledge and experiences that show I don't lack anything when it comes to serving the community, and I'm more than up to the task. Working with diverse groups of people is not new to me. Being the only one of anything is not new to me. Serving a community that tells me we need change has no color. Standing up for what you believe should not be an obstacle, but an asset. A person that seeks to build bridges shouldn't be seen as someone trying to divide. A person that isn't afraid to stand up takes a lot of courage, especially when there can be disagreements. I am more than ready to work with fellow council members in a unifying setting to figure out together ways we can make our city better. That's an asset anywhere. I feel I have already won because I've had the opportunity to sit here and face the whole community yet again. Coming to a new community, which is what I have done, and I've walked in and I said, there's issues I think that needs to be taken care of. Basically, what I've done is that I come into your home after you have cleaned your home, and I've asked you if you need help picking up things. I stepped on a lot of toes by bringing out the issues, and I know this, and I accept this. But I'm also willing to work with everyone and say, you know what? Yes, I see issues. Let's all admit that we have these issues and work for a better solution. I've had racial incidents happen to me since I've been here. That's not something that's not based in fact. I was told to go back where I came from when I first came here. That doesn't mean that I say the city of Dubuque is racist. That's not the case at all. There are many, many people here that are not racist that want to be allies to everybody. We just need to say, welcome, thank you for your assistance, I appreciate it. We have to learn how to be grateful and not to take everybody for advantage thinking that we all think the same. Thank you so much. I also ask for your vote on March 29th because I feel I am the best candidate to represent the whole community. Thank you.
Thank you. The Dubuque League of Women Voters thanks both of you for participating in this forum. This forum can be seen again on City Channel, Cable Channel 8 or Digital 117.2. It is being streamed live on the city Facebook page and the website. Thank you to the City Cable Channel for providing this service. Thanks to the voters for watching, and thanks for all these good questions. Residents of the Fourth Ward, remember to vote on March 29th. Thanks a lot and good evening.